What's up? Welcome to Four Downs. I'm joined by the Chronicle's Dan Carp, and I'm Danny Nolan of Duke Student Broadcasting, and we're here to give you the latest in Duke football. We're in front of the Belk store here in South Park, North Carolina. It's the flagship store of Belk. It's the Belk Bowl between Duke and Cincinnati. So let's get straight to it, Dan. We're talking about the experience of these two teams. Duke's going to really have its work cut out for them.
Yeah, you're talking about a Duke team that has absolutely zero postseason experience. They haven't played a bowl game since 1994. It's the first time in 18 years. Meanwhile, Cincinnati, they're a regular when it comes to postseason football. They played bowl games in 6 consecutive years, including trips to BCS bowl games in 2009, 2010. So they're a lot more used to the preparation, bowl week distractions, going to lots of different events. And just to see how long it's been since Duke's played in a bowl game. I mean, 1994 was a very different time.
Yeah, it's an incredible time lapse. If you talk about the last time they went to a bowl game, 1994. The last time they won one was 1961. It's been a while. Let's talk about the last time they were at a bowl game in 1994. The president at the time was Bill Clinton. The average gas price, 99 cents. That's it. The award for Best Picture and the Oscar was Forrest Gump. The #1 song was Boyz II Men on Bended Knee. Incredible. And 12 Duke players were born in the year of 1994. So simply incredible. They obviously do not have a lot of experience for this bowl game, to say the least. But let's talk about on the field, some of the adjustments they've made and some of the player positions they've changed for this game.
Yeah, well, head coach David Cutcliffe, coming off of a season where he was just named ACC's Coach of the Year, he hasn't been afraid to really mix things up in terms of positions. And this serves to be no exception, because just in between the last regular season game and now, he's changed position for 4 players on Duke's team. It's almost unheard of when you think about it. If you look at it, you have Nick Sink, who's going to be going from tight end to defensive tackle. Britton Greer is going to be moving from linebacker to defensive end. Nick Hill moving across one side of the ball to the other, from wide receiver to safety. And Shaquille Powell, one of the most interesting changes he's made. He was a highly recruited running back coming out of high school, and now he's going to be going to safety as well. Coach Cutcliffe said in Media Day today that you could expect to see Shaquille Powell on the field at safety in the Belk Bowl tomorrow, really getting some snaps and hopefully make an impact for a secondary that's been pretty decimated by injuries to this point.
Speaking of Coach Cutcliffe at Media Day, let's see what he had to say about the position changes for this game.
I don't like to see good football players over there standing with me. And sometimes your best players, your best 15 on each side of the ball, can stack up at a position. Or you just see, I've always just kind of looked and thought, I had a knack for telling who could fit where naturally, and so I love to do that.
So there's the position changes, but now we have to talk about the defensive side of the ball, Dan. What are going to be the keys for this team?
Yeah, Danny, it's going to be real difficult. They've been struggling a lot on the defensive side of the football for the back half of the season. They lost their 4 last regular season games, and doing so, they allowed 49.5 points a game. They're letting up 50 points a game defensively, and a lot of that came through the air with explosive plays. Now, Cincinnati is a little bit different. They're spread offense, just like a lot of the ACC opponent that Duke has seen this regular season, but they're a run-first team, and they do so really well with George Wynn, a 1,200-yard rusher who led the Big East in rushing. He's kind of the way their offense feeds through. And, they were a little bit shaky at the quarterback position. Brendan Kay, actually, he's only made 4 starts this season. They made a quarterback change midway through the year. And he's the type of guy where he's not going to win a game for you. They're really just looking for him as a glue guy to hold that offense together.
And I tell you what, they have been incredible in the first quarter. They have a 103 to 39 point advantage in the first quarter alone, which means that Duke is going to have to get off with guns blazing in the beginning of the game. Get it over the middle to Jamison Crowder. Get the ball to Jalay Duncan. Let him run up the ball just a little bit, maybe get 5 yards of carry to start the game. How about Connor Vernon, the senior leader, all-time ACC leader in reception and yards? Get a 50-yard bomb to him to start the game. Speaking of Connor Vernon, here's what he had to say about getting off to a hot start.
That's huge for us. That's something we don't do. We don't do a lot. We're kind of in a second-half team, and coming out the gate is going to be really important.
Now it's the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to do scores. So in this game, Dan, how do you think it's going to go?
I think a lot of this is going to come down to the coaching on both sides of the football. Duke has a lot of stability with David Cutcliffe, but Cincinnati has virtually none. Their head coach, Butch Jones, left to take the Tennessee job a couple of weeks ago. They're left with an interim and virtually no coaching staff because all of their assistants followed him. I think that's going to create a lot of confusion on their sideline, so it's going to be a little bit closer. But ultimately, I think Cincinnati's just too talented on both sides of the ball. I said they take this game 33-27.
Score similar, however, it's in the Duke Blue Devils' favor in this one, 31-28. I think Duke wins this. You mentioned the coaching changes. The offense, I think, is very unique, though. A lot of passing. I don't know if Cincinnati's really seen a lot of offenses like Duke's. It's in North Carolina. This is the first bowl game since '94. Duke's going to come out guns blazing, just like I said earlier in the show. So hopefully we can get this victory for the Blue Devil fans at home. That's going to do it for 4 Downs. Once again, for Dan Carp, I'm Danny Nolan. Thanks a lot for joining us.